Ever feel like you're this close to landing a client and then poof, they vanish. You don't hear from them again.
Yeah, I know. I can recall multiple times this has happened. I can recall back doing trade shows and being at these trade shows, talking to customers and be like, oh, this is going to be a good project. Can't wait to get started with them. Go to call them up and they never
Crickets,
get back to me. I email them nothing. I'm like, come on, man. What's going on here? I can recall doing this one gentleman. We would do build upon days, and we meet at our local one nursery, do a pond, and every year we try to teach people how to build their own water feature. A lot of times we get business from it. And I recall this one guy, he'd come over, I don't remember, it was like year 3 or 4, him coming to this event, participating. And finally, the last event, I can recall him being like, hey, I've been doing this for multiple years. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And he's an older gentleman. I remember going out to his water feature.
He was trying to DIY his own water feature because you were giving classes on how to do water features. What, for builders and for homeowners? Like anybody could show up?
Anybody can come to this.
Okay, so he had come consistently for like 3 years.
3 or 4 years. I don't remember exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I go out to look at his water feature, and this thing is huge. I don't know how he dug this whole thing by hand. Like, it's like 6 feet deep on a hill. Like, it was crazy. I'm like, how in the world did you do this? He had, a good chunk of the work done. I understand why he got tired, but it was because we kept staying in front of this customer in some capacity. And
that's why he came to you.
Yep.
Yeah. Because the whole point of this ramble is that staying in front of your customers, even if it feels like they're ghosting you, if it feels like they're not responding, even if you keep yourself out there and in front of them in some way, shape, or form, like we're old and crusty. And so when we first started landscaping, all of the digital marketing wasn't what it is today. Like, it wasn't like we were on YouTube or had Instagram because it hadn't been invented yet. And so our way of staying consistently in front of people was trade shows, doing in-person trainings and stuff like that. Old school, I will just keep postcards off or some email follow-up and just staying in contact with people on the phone. But I guess the point is, if people just vanish on you, don't always assume that that's like the period, end of sentence, done. If you stay in front of them, it might be 3-4 years, but they may come back for you.
Yeah. So today we're really diving in to the remarketing portion of our R6 framework. Now, if you guys have not been listening to the past couple of episodes, we do encourage you to go back, listen to those. This whole R6 framework basically builds on top of one another. So in the past, we started talking about reliability, how your business has to basically do what they say they're going to do on time and all that good stuff. That's the basis. And that's something every one of us should be doing all the time. And then above that is building a good reputation, the showing up on time, continuing doing what you say you're going to do, asking for referrals and stuff like that. And readiness is, okay, now you might have some leads coming in. Are you ready to actually to reach out to them, having some kind of process you follow through? And today, now we're continuing on talking about remarketing. So
those were the previous podcast episodes. So if you haven't listened to those, this will all make more sense if you go back and listen to those. But like Scott said, it all just builds on each other. It's a marketing system. It's a framework for getting your communications done with your clients, potential clients.
Yeah. So now today we're continuing talking about the remarketing. So remarketing is really, the basics of it is just staying in front of customers that have shown some level of interest, whether it's just honestly going to your website, looking at your Facebook page, looking at a Facebook ad, Google ad, whatever it is, calling you, whatever it is, and just staying in front of them. Like I gave that example.
The people that have gone to your website or people that have gone. So if anybody has been looking you up in any way, shape, or form, it's staying in front of those people because they might not want to buy right now, but they might want to buy later.
Yeah. So you have to stay in front of them and continue. And think of it. How many times have you guys been on some Facebook or Instagram platform and you clicked on something, then all of a sudden you see all these ads for whatever it is. I know it happens to me all the time. I look up something, whether it's marketing related, and all of a sudden I'm inundated with all these.
Well, it's summertime. So I obviously have been looking up like hiking boots, hiking sandals. And so now I'm getting all the ads on Facebook for like Keen, Merrill, all the different brands. They're all coming up now because they know they know I'm interested.
And that
So they're remarketing. They're
yeah.
staying in front of me. They're like, hey, this lady's looking for hiking sandals. Let's give her 1,000 ads.
That's exactly it.
And it will work because I'll buy something eventually.
Well, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
But this is something that we all need to be doing. And again, like we did it kind of the old school way, whether it's picking up the phone, trying to stay in touch with them, even after, we've gone out to do an estimate for them and they said, well, not right now, or I need to talk to somebody, or whatever kind of excuse they come up with. How many times do you just kind of let that go? You're thinking, I remember walking away from being like, I'm not going to lose that. I lost that job, lost that bid, whatever.
Yeah. And this isn't, I wouldn't think, something that we did all the time. I think this is a lesson that we learned after a while of just like, oh, forget it. Like, let that lead go. Oh, forget it. Because retargeting is maybe another word that people have heard, this remarketing, retargeting. They've maybe heard that language before. So,
yeah. So, and learning what we learned, it was back in the day, it was literally getting on the phone and call them or email them, just check in and see, answer any questions or whatever. Again, just to stay in front of that customer, the potential customer, or try to get them reengaged. Eventually we kind of learned a little bit more about the newsletters and just kind of staying in front of that customer. Even if they did say no, we're still putting information out in front of them just to show that we are professional.
Sometimes it's not no, it's just not right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So again, if you just kind of let these customers just kind of slip through the cracks, then you're losing out. One, like a really interesting fact, I think here is 95% of your prospects don't purchase on their first visit, first phone call, first text, whatever it is. 95%, that's a huge thing. And if you just kind of let those customers kind of go, they're probably going to your competitor. So you have to be out there and remarketing and staying in touch with them in some kind of manner. Again, whether it's emailing, texting, running ads, whatever it is.
Yeah. Some way, shape, or form. Be out there, be visible.
Yeah. And like a good example is actually the email marketing. Email marketers, our dogs are running around like crazy.
They are. I don't know if there's a squirrel. Yeah. I'm not sure what the problem is, but it's a ruckus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a good way to really stay in front of a customer through email is through email follow-ups. This should be, if they fill out a contact form on your website, that customer should be put in some kind of automation that automatically sends them emails.
Side note, if you don't have a contact form on your website for people to contact you, get a contact form on your website.
Yep. And you can send them again through the email. That's a huge thing, is sending them newsletters, even if they say no, even if you don't hear
or
from
some
them,
kind of follow-up sequence. Because what I think not everybody realizes is that if you learn how to use email software, it's not like you have to personally send out each and every single one of these emails. This is something that you can use technology to automate. Luckily, we live in 2025 right now, and there are tools available like AI to help you write these emails. And then there are tools like LeadSpeed, the business that we have launched here recently, to help you automate these tools. And actually, you don't even have to write the daggone emails because I've already written them and put them in LeadSpeed for you. Yeah. So just FYI, we're not trying to give you more work to do. We're just trying to show you ways that you can use modern technology to work smarter, faster, and easier. You don't have this. We're not trying to give you chores.
No.
There are things you can do to make this as systematic and done for you as possible.
The other option is to do text message reminders and follows through that way.
Yeah.
And I actually had an interesting conversation with a potential client today, and I mentioned using text messaging for getting like online reviews, Google reviews, I should say. And, they're a little hesitant of it. They said, well, I don't know if we want to do that because it seems a little slimy to them, and that's fine. But it is another option. And, to be honest, and I don't know the exact stat off the top of my head, but the response from a text message versus email, the text message is way higher nowadays because everybody texts, and there's so many things that come out on email. People look at emails as spam anymore, or it's garbage or whatever it is. So it's just another option. So if you don't want to feel, you don't feel comfortable with it, but it is an option.
We want to take a quick second to tell you about our friends over at Cycle CPA. I can't even express to you how important it is to have a good accountant on your side. You know you want accurate bookkeeping and financial statements every month. Instead, you're often left with limited time to focus on the accounting side of your business and no reports to show for it. At Cycle CPA, the landscaping accountants, they not only handle the bookkeeping, but also provide landscape industry benchmarking, job costing, financials by service line, advisory meetings, and much more. Cycle CPA has a team of landscaping accountants available to provide anything from bookkeeping to CFO services. Visit cyclecpa.com and for $100 off, mention the Million Dollar Landscaper podcast.
Want to grow your business and get more customers fast? Then it's time to talk about pay-per-click advertising from Green Frog Web Design. With PPC, your business can appear right at the top of the search results, putting you in front of the customers who are already looking for your services. Whether it's landscaping, home improvement, or retail, Green Frog's expert team will create targeted, high-performing ad campaigns that deliver real results. No wasting money, no guessing games, just more leads and more sales. And the best part, Green Frog handles everything for you, from keyword research to ad design to optimization, so you can focus on what you do best, running your business. If you're ready to leap ahead of your competition, visit greenfrogwebdesign.com today or just click the link in the bio. Start driving traffic, generating leads, and growing your business like never before.
Well, and the coach in me is like, so what about that feels slimy to you?
Yeah.
See, that makes me just want to dig deeper. I don't view it as slimy, and I am someone who, trust me, like I think I'm one of those people who can get prickly. Like I don't like spam texts, obviously, or spammy emails. Those annoy me. But if I have worked with a company and they just send me a thing that's like, oh, hey, if you're happy with what we did for you, do you mind leaving this Google review? Here's the link to it. I don't. To me personally, I do not see that as slimy. It's all in how you word it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Anyway, that's just my 2 bits on that. If you do have some resistance to that, maybe just take a little time to think about what exactly about that feels slimy to you, and then how can you do it in a way that doesn't feel slimy.
Now the next part is this is a little bit more advanced, and that would be using Facebook ads and Google ads and kind of retargeting somebody that's visited your website. And that's where, again, Laura kind of mentioned, you click on a website or you click on something and then all of a sudden you're getting all these other ads. Again, this is kind of the next level, but this is another way you can stay in front of the customers. So they visit your website, you have a Facebook pixel hooked up, and then you start sending them ads about your business and services and whatnot. That is, again, the next level.
Right? When you started this landscaping business, nobody ever told you like, oh, you're going to have to learn remarketing, retargeting. Yeah. I'm going to have to learn how to use email, automated emails. I'm going to have to learn about texting. If you've not done any of these things, please don't feel bad, because there's a learning curve to it, but there is luckily a lot of ways that you can automate this and have a lot of it done just kind of running behind the scenes, that you don't physically have to do all of this yourself.
And so then, like, the last thing I'll mention here is you can even go a step further is, if they visit your website and then they come back to, they go away, they come back after a couple, days or whatever it is, you can actually create a page that retargets those people that visit your page, a whole different page than what they saw initially. So there's so many different layers. I wasn't even
aware of this magic.
There's so many different layers.
So Scott's a wizard and can make your website do wizard things, is what I'm hearing.
Well, there's a ton of possibilities, but the whole point of it is just to really stay in front.
He's like, don't call me a wizard. That's sorry. Go ahead.
But again, it is all part of the remarketing. And again, if it's one of those R6 things, and if you guys aren't doing these things, you're missing out a lot. Like I said, 95% of people don't buy on the first purchase or first visit or whatever it is. So that's a huge number. And if you just aren't taking advantage of it, you're really, really missing out. So what I'd really recommend for you guys, again, is to go back. If you haven't listened to these podcasts, like I said, go back, start off the reliability, kind of understand our whole philosophy behind this. Because again, every single one of these builds on top of each other. So like, you shouldn't be going in running these Facebook ads or Google ads if you don't have you're not ready to take customers in and have a contact form and stuff like that. That's why I said everything kind of builds.
Yeah, that's why they're in the order that they are. Because you could run a bunch of ads and then all of a sudden get inundated with phone calls, texts, people that want to work with you. But if you don't have systems in place to deal with that, then that then things are going to fall through the cracks, and customers are going to be like, well, I tried getting a hold of them, but nobody got a hold of me. And so that's what we mean by, if you do things in the right order, it gets you a solid foundation. So you do have systems in place to be able to handle it when you do have leads coming in and you're busy and you're working and you're going and you don't have time necessarily to do this all yourself. That's where, if you go back and listen to these episodes, we launched a company called Leadspeed, and it's just all about how you can help automate and get a lot of this done for you behind the scenes, so you're not having to clone yourself or hire more admin staff or anything like that, because we know a lot of people don't necessarily have the money to do that right now, and they don't have the time to do this all themselves, because it goes back to, like you said, when you started this landscaping company, you didn't know there was going to be all this boring marketing crap you're going to have to do.
Yeah, this is all part of the marketing, and like a lot of people, like Katie said, just don't even think about it. They don't know about it.
And I know this because we didn't either. We're like, what the heck, man? I thought we just had to do a great job installing some patios and we'd be fine. If it was only that easy.
Yeah, and you really look at it, marketing as a whole, it has dramatically changed from even 5 years ago, 2 years ago, even.
It is moving at the speed of lightning. Yeah.
And you see, talking about marketing and seeing all these Facebook ads, I get a ton of things for helping, like businesses helping landscapers get leads. That's cool. But if you don't have these foundations, like I said, set up or ready, you're not a reliable business. You're not ready to take customers on and understand all that stuff. That's when, like Katie said, you're going to get a bad review, or people are going to say bad things about you, and you build that bad reputation. You don't want any of this stuff. So again, I'm not knocking any of those services, but if you don't have any of those foundational levels set up and done right in your business, it's all going to be for nothing. So
there's more to it than just getting the leads. Everybody's like, I just need more leads. I need more leads. That's cool. That's fine. You have to have the leads, but there are other steps and other things involved in order to get the most out of those leads. And so you can focus more on the quality of the lead you're getting instead of just being like, I need 14 gajillion.
Yeah. Another example, I've had multiple phone calls today with people, but one of the first people I spoke to today, they didn't even have a sales process. Not knocking them. It was
a younger guy just starting out, because once again, ain't nobody told you you needed to have this, so he didn't know.
But so I started going through and asking him, and one of the issues he had was he was just getting all these people coming into him, and it was like crappy leads, and he didn't have a process to go through to pre-qualify that customer. So again,
you don't want a bunch of crappy leads. That's useless. Yeah. Nobody's got time for that.
So again, I had to kind of take them back to the foundation level and kind of build up and explain all these things. And that's when, after you kind of get all those things, that's when you can get into the remarketing. That's when you can start, getting out, you're getting to these leads companies and whatnot. But again, if you don't have these foundational things, it doesn't matter. So,
what do you want people to do?
Yeah. So this week, if you're at that remarketing level, then I want you to think about how you can stay in front of your customers. How can you stay in front of customers if the customer says no? How can you think of stay in front of them if they're thinking about doing the project? Can you set up an email newsletter that can be automated, like Katie said? Can you create automations that automatically go out after you visit the clients or before you go out and meet the client? There's a lot of things out there, a lot of technology out there nowadays, like Katie said, that we can do to start doing.
And if that all sounds way too hard and is giving you a headache, I encourage you to just start with, number one, do you have a website? Number two, do you have a lead capture form? And what we mean by lead capture form, is there a way for people to contact you through your website? Can they click, fill out a little form? I want to work with you. Because that to me is like baseline bottom before if that other stuff sounds too hard and gives you a headache, start with that.
The one thing I would add to that,
okay,
you can have a contact form, but have it go into your CRM. Don't just have it email you. And I've seen this lots of times with some of these, just these people just building websites to build websites. They build a website and build a contact form. The customer fills out that contact form. You get an email as the business owner, and that's all it ends.
Good point.
So it should automatically go into a CRM program that can
customer relations management program.
Yeah, where it can automate some of those things and send out the email and let them know that you'll get back to them right away.
And once again, if you don't know what a CRM is and you haven't looked into one, it's a good idea, because especially if you are an owner operator, so if you are doing the owner things and working out in the field, I hate to break this to you, but you cannot keep everything that you need to do in a day in your head. You can't. I'm sorry. It's going to fall out.
Something's going to get lost.
Something's going to fall in the cracks and something's going to get lost. And I have worked with people who have been owner operators and tried to keep everything in their heads. And then sometimes they act mean about it because they forget things and things fall in the cracks. And then when you remind them, and then they're mean about it. So, or you could just use a CRM to help you keep your shit together, and your life will be easier, and life will be easier for those around you, including your current and potential customers, because it gives you a way to capture all of the necessary communications that you need to be having with these people and keeping them in one place. You can set up reminders. You can take notes in there. So you even know, like, oh crap, what did we talk about last time? I don't even know. I've had 47 conversations today. So this inadvertently turned into a plug for CRM. But anyway, like we mentioned, we've got a new company called LeadSpeed, leadspeed.io. It has a CRM in there, obviously, since we're promoting it. There's other ones out there. Google it. There's plenty of them out there. But if a lot of the things we're talking about sound too hard, start with the very, very basics. Don't overwhelm yourself. Start with what you can do, because starting with that is better than not doing anything because you're like, well, they just said a bunch of words and letters that I don't understand.
Yeah. And again, if you need help too, feel free to reach out to us. Either put a note in the comment section or email me at scott@milliondollarlandscaper.com. We'd be glad to set up something.
We'll get you sorted. Yeah.
So guys, go take action. Go look at your system, look at your process, and figure out what you can start doing today to help stay in front of those customers. Because again, if you're not, you don't want to be missing out on that 95%. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. Make sure you stick around because we're going to continue this R6. We have 2 more left, and we'll have the whole system gone through. And if you guys, again, need any help with this, feel free to reach out. Yeah,
we're just going to keep talking about it because it's that important. We'll just kind of keep reiterating it because it really is that important, especially just early indicators from 2025 is people are like, I need leads, and so we're going to help you get the most out of the leads that you have and make it as easy as possible to get those, the lead to customer. And then, sorry, I'm like choking on air to get that as quick as possible and to make it as automated as possible so you don't have to do it.
Yeah, we don't have time.
You don't got time.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today and hope you have a great day.